Let's do it. Let's watch why woke people are making things ugly by Think Before You Sleep. Let's check it out. It sounds like it looks like it'll be a lot of fun. Let's see. We got a Dove commercial. Let's go, baby. Hey, take a shower, guys. It's good for your health to smell good, and then you could actually get a date.
There are thousands of skins available to choose from. But finally, one that looks like mine.
Okay.
Oh, I look so badass.
Okay, cool. I mean, if you want to add more inclusivity in games, go for it. Make your own game and edit. Just don't take away the attractive, women for me. All right, because it's the only reason I watch people play Street Fighter is because Chun-Li. What? I don't even know what a Street Fighter is, but I know what a Chun-Li is. You know what I'm saying?
Lazy. This is completely lazy.
What is?
Are we ever going to get a new woke meta, or are they just going to keep using the same old hashtag first ever, insert perceived oppressed group, in a insert type of media? This is the first time a woman who looks like me has ever been put in a video game. Yeah, and Jennifer Lawrence was the first female lead in an action movie ever. I swear these people used to be more creative, but these days...
I believe that she misspoke there. I remember her walking that back, but yeah, sure. Okay.
Everything is so formulaic. That, and the fact that the people who made this ad clearly don't play video games, because there are plenty of them out there with extreme levels of character customization, and it's been that way for a while, as I remember that in Phantasy Star Online from over 20 years ago, you could customize your character to be a short person of size.
I do.
Okay. Well, that's not the general ad. Like, there are some exceptions. Like, Diablo has, you could be a pretty thick woman, of course. That's not really the status quo standard for the most part. I think that's all they're saying. Listen, I don't care. Like, once you start saying, oh, you shouldn't have, if they start complaining, like, oh, you shouldn't have traditionally attractive women with their boobs out, you shouldn't be able to do that. Then I'm like, well, that's silly. But if they're like, hey, add some more inclusivity, I'm fine with that. Just don't take away what I already got going on. You know what I mean? I'm looking. I'm respectfully. But I'd like to see some thick beauties in there too. That's not a big deal. I'm down for that too. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Don't look like that. Not everyone looks like that. A character that looks like me in a video game and be like, yo, this baby's fire.
Yes, you can do that. If you want to create an albino character with red hair in a game, that's possible.
Well, you know that she's not talking just about that. She's talking about her weight as well. You know that. I don't know why you're pretending that's not the case, but okay.
Please, Dove, tell me more about how things that already exist in video games don't exist.
Okay.
Or maybe I can watch another video from Vice about people who don't know how to use the mute button on a multiplayer game. Oh, look, the ad comes with an article. We're bringing real beauty to the virtual world.
My criticism is I hope that they make the game not suck. Because that's a problem with some places is that they'll make a game that's like inclusive or a piece of media that's supposed to be inclusive, and then they won't make the game good. Like they'll kind of just say, "Hey, we inserted some more representation. That means that we don't have to actually make the game good." That part pisses me off because to me that's like that's bigoted in some capacity. You're just like, well, the game doesn't have to be good because it has it has representation in it. Like, okay, we're fine. That's more of an issue to me than anything else. As long as that's not there, I don't give a shit.
Does the term beauty even mean anything anymore? Or is everybody just the same regardless of effort? You're all 10 out of 10s in mommy's eyes. Thanks for the participation trophy, Dove.
I think that they're just speaking to, like, women don't typically look the way that they're portrayed in the media. And it's just about, like, hey, like, can we get represented in the game, too? Not for nothing. I felt pretty represented by, Thor from God of War. That was pretty cool,
Anyway, about a month ago, Dove came out with her latest body positivity campaign by partnering with Epic Games and using the Unreal Engine to create 3D models of realistic women.
Okay.
Wait, this was done with Unreal Engine? Really? Why do all these models look like crappy World of Warcraft avatars from 2006? Okay. Dove has hundreds of millions of dollars, and this is the best...
Wait till this guy finds out that if you load up Classic WoW right now, they don't ask you to choose between male and female. They actually just call it... They say it's the body type. So don't tell him about that, or else he's going to start making a bunch of things about how Blizzard is too woke now. Blizzard has gone to... How are you not dead, bro? Why are you... What's going on here? Die, pussy. Oh, okay. Hopefully he doesn't find out about that.
So they can come up with for their banner.
But it's only Classic WoW. I think Live WoW is still male versus female.
There are YouTubers working by themselves on no budget making full AAA quality playable renders with Unreal Engine, while these renders from Dove barely break the PS2 era. I understand that they should...
Okay, well, there's no background there with any, lighting. to contrast it.
like renders with Unreal Engine, while these
Like this, there's no background with any like really solid lighting, and lighting is what gives like a lot of depth and realism to a particular picture or graphic. So like I think you know that, or maybe you just don't, but that's like a fact. So without lighting, they're not going to look as full. Lighting is like incredibly important when it comes to realism. So you're comparing a white background with no lighting and no shadowing to a fully shadowed and whatnot in-depth picture. It's something I keep in mind.
From Dove barely break the PS2 era. I understand that they showed like 3 seconds of content that looked decent, but then they show this woman saying that she looks badass to this lower quality avatar, which kind of sets the tone for all these major companies constantly setting the bar lower and lower as time goes on, because they are too lazy to create quality products that are new and original, all while acting like a sleazy salesman who's trying to convince you that this unfinished piece of crap here is just as good as this incredible high-definition remaster of Ocarina of Time.
I don't even think that they put that in. I don't even think that they said that. I think that you made that part up. I think that they're just saying, it'd be cool if someone was also fat in a game and made me feel represented. As long as you're not taking away my titties, I don't give a fuck if you want to add representation. So
real beauty takes effort, and everything about this project from Dove says, we put no effort into this. For example,
You were not there. You don't exist. The things are not made for you.
Okay, I don't believe that statistic at all. Where did you get that number? Did you simply ask 3 of your British friends? Because there is
2 of 3 female gamers in the UK say that there's lack of representation. They probably do feel that way because a lot of video games are made for men. And like that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like your best criticism is like, hey, I'm tired of women complaining about how there's not enough female representation in games. But like then do it yourself. These are games that are made to appeal to men. So if you got nice big fat titties in the game, I want to see that. If you want to make a game that appeals to women, then make one, right? That's my thing. That's what they're doing, right? That's my thing. Oh, I don't like how there's no female representation. Hey, do you play video games? No, I don't really like them. Okay, so why don't you fucking make a game that you'll like and make it more towards women? Which we do. We got like Animal Crossing and shit, and that's cool. But there are women who probably feel underrepresented. This is Rogue Legacy too. I don't understand the complaint here. But that's probably true. Who really cares though?
There's no way that most British women are eternally offended snowflakes who care about that kind of stuff.
I mean, it's not really eternally offended. They're just saying, hey, I don't really feel represented. It isn't the same of them having a meltdown.
But more importantly, you might have noticed that there are subtitles in this video. Those aren't for deaf people. The reason they included subtitles is because the echo is so bad that you can't hear what they're saying. Where's the acoustic treatment? Okay. Did they record this in a square concrete building?
You were not there. You don't exist. The things are not made for you.
It's also hard to hear the people who are speaking.
So do you want to talk about how that woman in a wheelchair, like how really powerful it could be for a kid or somebody in a wheelchair to feel represented in a video game? Don't want to talk about that? Just gonna roll. You're gonna roll past that one? Yeah, I mean, I imagine, especially people in a wheelchair, right? Like, if your argument is like, well, fat people can just stop being fat, that's a conversation about food addiction and unhealthy habits and that, but you have a decent argument there. But what about people with, like, characteristics they can't change? Hey, I'm in a wheelchair. It'd be cool if there was a character, like, in a wheelchair that somehow has also a good game. Oh, okay, cool. Let's kind of brainstorm on that one. Why shit on her for that?
Because the mixing is bad and the music is often too loud. And the gain is turned up so high on their microphones that the audio is almost clipping. Was everyone on this project a diversity hire? This audio is about as pleasant to listen to as a bunch of feminists screaming into the microphone for their college play.
That's true. Xavier from X-Men. There you go.
Since 2004, the Dove Self-Esteem Project has become the largest self-esteem education provider in the world.
Okay.
Well, I think I found your problem here. You see, attractive people have horrible self-esteem. That's why they spend insane amounts of time on the skill building and self-care that it requires to be attractive. I'll give you an example. This picture of Zendaya has been trending recently. This is no self-care Zendaya. This is self-care Zendaya. Do you see the difference in appearance? One took effort, the other took no effort.
I mean, just sitting there saying that she looks bad on the left is kind of a little bit of part of the problem, right? Just shitting on her for what? Okay.
Because of stuff like this, I really think this whole woke campaign, as well as the woke stuff in general, is an assault on effort because their main message is, you're fine the way you are, which is a decent message if you have a really unreasonable insecurity. But also, if you tell people in general that they're already perfect, then the ones who are foolish enough to believe that will never strive to improve. And coincidentally,
sure.
I think that those are often the people who would benefit the most from a little bit of low self-esteem.
I'm sure that trying to provide a confidence booster to people is the #1 problem with people's lives, preventing them from bettering themselves. Hey guys, these people are ugly because they're too confident. Or maybe if you give them a little bit of confidence, it'll give them the, they'll feel comfortable going out into the world and improving themselves. You have to love yourself before you change yourself. If you don't love yourself, then you're not going to think you're worth changing in the first place. I just don't see it as a big deal to try to give people confidence and make them feel better about themselves. I think that could be a very inspiring factor in bettering yourself. But okay, I guess we just disagree on that. Just die, bro. Come on, fuck.
It's not only about self-esteem, it's about what you can or cannot do with your life.
Okay, but how does a PS2 quality avatar for a failed ad campaign enable you to do things in your life that you previously could not do? Not to mention that video games are failed ad campaigns.
Or cannot do with your life.
Okay, obviously could not do.
I guess.
Not to mention that video games are primarily about escapism, and if I'm playing a character, I want to play someone who is more attractive than me, so I can self-insert and escape from my less glamorous life.
Okay.
Why would I want to fantasize about being ugly? The whole point of playing a video...
I mean, everybody has... People are different. I imagine you'd think that men and women are fundamentally different, which I agree with, and so maybe women have a different interaction with their character than men. Like when I play a character, I enjoy like a fat character that's also like strong, right? Like I like the glorified version of a fat character. It's cool, man. Makes me feel like a cool guy. It's probably similar to that. Obviously, I don't want to play as myself because I'm a fat piece of shit. But like Thor from Ragnarok, that was cool. Okay.
Video game is to be able to do things that you can't do in real life, like fly or shoot laser beams out of your eyes or be a dolphin. Games are designed to be unrealistic, and that's what makes them
I love
fun.
being a dolphin.
I just want to be able to play my Japanese bug-collecting self-improvement game, where I can completely ignore all the themes of animal abuse and slavery, because it's not real life.
Okay.
That being said, there's a second part to this Dove campaign, where they decided to feature one of the models in her own commercial. Now, looking at this cast, if we're trying to promote body positivity, we have several people here who look a certain way because of how they were born, or they're in a situation that's no fault of their own. There's Sam, who is in a wheelchair, Lily, a woman with Down syndrome, and Coco, a woman with a skin disease that caused her to lose her pigmentation.
Okay.
Surely these women are all great choices to promote self-acceptance in the face of a situation that you can't change. Nope, Dove picked the obese woman.
Okay. I mean, that's probably just because a lot more people are obese than the other things, but okay. I mean, fine. I guess that's a fine criticism. Sure.
Are we still going to gaslight people into thinking that body positivity has anything to do with being compassionate and understanding towards people who are victims of unfortunate circumstances?
Well, yeah, it is, right? Like, here's the thing. Like, the act, what you should get out of body positivity. One, obviously, fat people, you should lose weight. But two, just stop harassing fat people for the what the fuck am I supposed to do here? For the virtue of their existence, right? And stop pretending that you care. Like, you're like, oh, I'm just criticizing them because I care about them. Like, you don't. It's, it's just, hey, fuck off, leave me alone, kind of a thing. Silently judge me. That's pretty much all it is. But you don't need to make a fucking comment. Bro, are you serious right now? I guess. Especially women, since women tend to get shit on more than men do. For the way that they look. Okay.
I hope not, because obviously it's all just a fat acceptance narrative and a way to enable food addicts who are too in denial to fix their health issues and their appearance.
Sure.
And it's not the first time this has been done either. Here's an article from 2015 talking about body positivity edits in video games, where all they do is make every character fat and disparage girls who naturally have curves.
Okay,
As for why this movement is so important
to
to Dove, well, there's a reason for that. But first, I have to make a correction. In a previous video, I said that the owners of Dove, Unilever, had a vested interest in fat acceptance because they own Ben & Jerry's ice cream. I have to apologize for that statement.
Oh, yeah, because you were going on some kind of weird fucking conspiracy theory about how the world, they're trying to make people fat or something.
Because it was extremely inaccurate. Unilever actually owns 5 different ice cream brands. They own a popular mayonnaise brand, they own Popsicle, and they sometimes partner with Nabisco to make good humor versions of Oreo.
Oh, you ballsack.
These make up most of their food brands, and the remaining ones are still pretty much processed junk food.
Okay.
So is it a surprise that they would use their soap company to
come
promote an
on.
ideology that causes people to buy more junk food like ice cream? No, it can't be about that.
You're
It's
right.
about over-sexualizing women.
Había dos personajes, mujeres, nada más.
I
Los
like
dos eran
those
dos personajes
sexualizing women.
súper sexualizados Y nada, eran las dos opciones que tenía para elegir.
Sorry, for some reason they had her speak Spanish, even though she can speak English. But she said two female characters from a game that they never identified were over-sexualized. Whatever that means, because they'll call Laura Croft hypersexualized for just standing there and doing nothing sexual. But I get it. Video games sexualize women.
Opciones que mujeres, nada más.
It's about over-sexualizing women.
Había dos personajes, mujeres, nada más. Los dos eran dos personajes súper sexualizados. Y nada, eran las dos opciones que tenía para elegir.
Oh, what she's talking about there is that, like, in whatever game she was playing, the only options were two over-sexualized women, and she wished she had a third option that was more in line with her. That's fine. She wasn't saying to get rid of those women. She was saying she wishes that she had a third option that was just like her. It's really not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal.
Sorry, for some reason they had her speak Spanish, even though she can speak English. But she said two female characters from a game that they never identified were over-sexualized. Whatever that means, because they'll call Laura Croft hypersexualized for just standing there and doing...
She wasn't saying it was a bad thing that they were sexualized. She was just saying that she wished that she had more representation.
Nothing sexual. Okay. But I get it. Video games sexualize women way too much. Let's see how Dub intends to remedy this problem.
By making them ugly. That's what you're going to just say.
Well, that's one way to start. We have a woman here who was fully covered up, who then changed into something that was more revealing. She basically is in the
I mean, I do like armpits. Those are very sexualized, but that's obviously not sexualized, so, okay.
Same outfit that Laura Croft was in.
Okay.
Let's see what's next.
Okay. Oh, then she was a fat person. Oh, jeez, this is terrible. I can't believe
So now we have a
this.
bent-over ass shot that is center of the frame that adds nothing to the story.
Is your dick hard from that or something? Like, it's obviously women like this. Women can bend over without it being like sexually suggestive. You realize that, right? Like, I don't understand. Right, you're so weird. See, now her ass is bent over. See, it's all sexualized. What are you talking about? She's just bent over. It doesn't mean that she's fucking. It's a sexualized shot of her. Like, what's the difference? Holy fuck, this is gold. I mean, bro, it's like actual gold.
Tregan Films super chatted $1.99. I'm confused on this guy's point, Mr. Gut.
I think it's just like, hey, listen, I'm tired of seeing fat people, which I get that. I mean, I watch My 600-Pound Life and I'm like, damn, what the hell's wrong with you? You know what I mean? But, you know, you could just keep it to yourself. You're like, yo, because, you know, I get it. You might look at me and go, gross. Yeah, that's fine. Just keep it to yourself, right? Like, that's pretty much all it comes down to. Think your thought and keep it to yourself, man. You know, I'm a taxpayer. Do what I want.
They went full-on anime camera angles, and somehow they're going to claim that it's not an attempt at sexualizing the...
This seems very different. Also, you know, if I wanted to be real woke, why are you putting cartoon children on screen with their asses out? I don't
character.
It's not the same thing, bro. You know it. You're being weird. Oh, man. She chose the one that looks more like a lollipop. What a fucking boss queen, am I right? I don't understand why she chose this instead. Like, what was... I never understood the significance of this scene. Like, what's more significant about the blue one over the purple one? Oh, you fucking stinky fuck. Okay.
Where exactly did you get that stat?
I don't know.
This time it says 74%, so on this occasion, they would have had to survey at least 50 people. That's more than 3, but what do? Survey the office? How exactly did they ask the questions in the survey? Because there's no way that much of the general population agrees with this woke narrative, considering that...
Bro, it's really not very unlikely for women to be like, yeah, I don't really feel represented in games so much. Like, why? Like it just, it makes sense that they might feel that way. It's probably a bunch of girls who don't even like fucking video games. That would be the better criticism. Like, who are these girls? Do they even care about video games? Like, although someone would argue, like, maybe they care more if they felt more represented. But, like, who gives a fuck? I don't know. Look up their stats. Whatever.
Places like America, half the population are conservatives who don't care about this, and tons of liberals are anti-feminist too.
Okay.
So there's no way you got a vast majority on this one. The proof being that you had to censor the comments on the video. But considering that all the anti-capitalist YouTubers
I don't think that's the proof. I think people like you and other like annoying content creators were like pearl clutching and sensationalizing this. This really isn't a big deal. So I cannot believe I just died there.
Calling stuff like this performative wokeness, I doubt you even have them on your side.
Woke washing, similar to greenwashing and pinkwashing, is a type of performative capitalism. Companies these days often brand themselves as being woke, either by posting like a Black Lives Matter post on Instagram or by showing a diverse range of models in their ad campaigns, because they know being more progressive is monetizable these days.
Here's what I mean when I say it's performative. Let's remove the fact that they focused on the one person who could actually change her appearance, probably because she's more relatable to the majority of the Dove audience, and will thus sell more soap, which kind of goes against their whole message of giving representation to people who don't normally get it. Obese women are—
Well, the other women also got the models, too. I mean, if your argument is like, oh, they used the overweight woman as the flagship, sure, I guess. They probably did do that because she represents more people. But then at the same time, the other people were still represented in some capacity, so...
already have a ton of representation. But let's forget about all that and bring attention to the idea that this campaign was supposed to be about accepting real beauty. At the end of the ad, they showed this image here that says, learn more about Cynthia's real story at dove.com/.
Personally, I think that, here's the thing, I'm a fat guy, and I do very much believe in the concept of dressing appropriately for your size. And I feel like, well, I feel like nobody dressed the way that she's dressed would look good. It's just kind of a
Jarhead
weird
Devil
thing.
Dog super chatted $2. Yo, Papa got power after 5 days. Hope her happy smile.
Yeah, man. I'm happy you got power back. What happened? The hell? What do you live in fucking third world country? What the fuck? But good for you, man. Jesus Christ, I just can't aim for my life. I don't feel represented in my inability to aim. Shit.
Real virtual beauty. Now take a look at this picture. If this is supposed to be about real beauty, then why did you edit her appearance to be more conventionally attractive? The most obvious thing they did is that they removed her double chin. Also, if you zoom in, you can see
it looks like it's still there.
they removed her smile lines as well, and they straightened her hair.
What?
And don't tell me that it's harder to render curly hair. This was done by a AAA company.
The fuck are you talking about? I'm so confused. What? Okay.
And they straightened her hair.
I guess they probably airbrushed some of the picture. They do that a lot. I don't know. Maybe. Confused. I mean, she still doesn't look like what you'd normally see if they did airbrush some things. But what the fuck are you talking about? Oh, fuck my balls, dude. There we go. Okay.
And don't tell me that it's harder to render curly hair. This was done by a AAA company.
What?
And you can see the individual strands of her hair on her avatar.
Oh, are they saying in the picture, the one next to her isn't quite as okay? I don't understand the criticism here. She doesn't look exactly like her. It's a fucking cartoon. Okay, whatever.
They can figure out curly hair. The ridiculousness of this situation reminds me of that guy who fixed the Anita Sarkeesian feminist frequency look.
Are you saying that like curly hair is like ugly? I don't understand. Why are you suggesting that they think curly hair is unattractive? I don't think that they're suggesting that. Like, probably was just easier. Ah! No! Stop! Do I not have fucking... What the fuck? Dude, I don't even have... Oh, no immunity window.
That was a classic. Now let's go back to the original image, because this is even more egregious. They made Cynthia taller than she actually is. You can see here that she's shorter than the black girl, but her avatar is taller than her. That or they took all these pictures separately, and Dove did a bad editing job.
Who cares?
They used better makeup on Cynthia to give her more contrast in her face, and yet again straightened her hair. Don't tell me that they can't do curly hair here, because there is a curly hair avatar standing right next to her.
What the fuck are you talking about? What does the curly hair matter? If anything, maybe they made her hair not curly because they already had somebody with curly hair in their fucking thing. What are these criticisms? They're so weird. I fucking border on obsession. Like, what the fuck?
And on the subject of things being ironically racist, the black girl is the only one who looks worse than she does in real life. You have a decent-looking woman here, and they did her dirty.
Okay.
They made her shorter and fatter. Her real hairstyle looks way better than the avatar.
This is a hot take. I'm going to assume they said, "Do you like this?" And she was like, "Yeah, I do." But sure, it's racist. Okay, everything's racism now, I guess. He's just woke.
They made her less fashionable by closing her jacket, which removes the layering on her torso. And don't say they can't add in layering, because both the white girls have more layered clothing in their 3D avatars than they do in person. Coco is also the only one that didn't get makeup, and the render of her avatar is so poor that the face looks glued on, like a character from GoldenEye for Nintendo 64.
Whoa, dissing GoldenEye.
How did they trick her into saying that? Now, to be fair, there was a higher quality render of her, but this image still makes her look bad. And my question is, if they had those renders, then why did they use these garbage ones for the main page of the campaign?
They're racist.
It sends a confusing message because the campaign is about empowering less attractive people by altering their appearance to be more attractive, while also choosing to promote the less attractive renders of the avatars that they made.
It's so funny because he's like, yeah, all these women, because they're, even though they're not fat, the non-fat ones, they're just unattractive. They're like just disgusting. Like, that's pretty much what you're saying. It's just intentionally disrespectful. I know you'd be like, well, it's just a fact. It's like, yeah, maybe. I don't think so, but it's just disrespectful. I mean, it's just like, why? For what? Yeah, all these fucking ugly women. Why? Why are you so like? It's weird. Why are you so focused on it? It's so fucking weird, bro.
It lacks what the film industry calls continuity, which is just another form of showing how low effort this entire campaign was.
Okay.
And that really fits the philosophical narrative of woke ideology.
Sure.
Their whole message is, don't put effort into anything, don't fix yourself, meritocracy doesn't exist,
Okay.
and don't make things beautiful.
Okay.
It's literally in every facet of their ideology. Look at the art they produce. This is not the only example. In fact, recently, I was in New York with Brittany Venti to go to someone's wedding. On that trip,
I mean, your girlfriend? Okay. I think that their idea is just like, hey, let's represent more different people. And you're melted down over it. I think it's like pretty much all that really comes down to. Just don't play the game. I mean, I don't care. Who gives a shit? It's really not that big of a deal.
we hung out with a friend of hers and went to a modern art museum called the Whitney. Here's a picture I took of the building. Now, while you're enjoying my vacation slideshow, I want you to imagine what kind of art that you would see in a modern art museum. Then take that picture in your head and lower the quality by a factor of 10. Here's what Brittany and I saw at the art museum. I am 95% sure that I, with no art experience, can draw better than this.
So do
Keep
it.
in mind that we paid money to get in. It was $25 a person, and I bought all the tickets, so I paid $75 to see a museum full of art made by adults that looks like a fourth.
Who else went there? 3 people? What, did you have your fucking girlfriend's husband there too? Like, what the fuck's going on there? My wife's boyfriend said that I could come. Oh, wait, I need to do this. Oh! Bro, are you sitting? Oh, wait, hold on. Bro, I'm so bad at this game.
Fourth grader did it. Though we were just there to laugh, so I think it was worth it. But imagine thinking that this image looks good. There is so much crap in the frame that I have no idea what to focus on. But apparently, a lot of anti-capitalist YouTube channels think that this style of art that has all the grace of a messy room looks good because a number of them use this ugly style of elementary school collage art to create their thumbnails. If you think that these 3 examples are the only ones that I
What the fuck are you talking about?
have, then you'd be wrong. But let me guess, this is a commentary on capitalism, right?
I think you're just rambling at this point. You know, I don't think you really know what the fuck you're talking about. I think you just kind of like just engaged in a run-on sentence.
Players.
Yeah, you just kind of engaged in like a run-on sentence at this point.
That's always the case with modern art.
Okay.
The ironic part of this trip is that right across the street from the Whitney, there's this beautiful piece of architectural art called Little Island on the Hudson River that you can just walk into for free, and it was built by a rich capitalist named Barry Diller.
Okay.
Why would I pay to see kindergarten art when I can see art that is actually good for free?
Look.
If woke people are really focused on the betterment of mankind, then why do they keep making things ugly? Why did they use a game like Fable to take an actress with attractive facial features and make her ugly in the game? However, personally, I think we are nearing the end of this nonsense, and here's why. If you pay attention, then you'll realize that people or companies will pretty much strive to get away with whatever you let them get away with. When you assert boundaries, that's when they stop. The craziest adults are the ones who didn't have boundaries asserted on them when they were younger. Setting boundaries is important. For example, look at how many major battles that woke companies have lost this June. Bud Light is essentially dead as a brand, and it turns out that companies like Starbucks aren't that attached to the message when they found out that sticking to their morals was going to cost them a ton of money. They will...
Well, what? I mean, I think that more than anything else, Starbucks' problem is that they keep suppressing union workers. So, but okay.
will continue to throw this crap in your face until you say no. And if you really pay attention, then
so just stop buying it.
You'll notice that over the past couple decades, a lot of the messaging and cultural events have been geared towards removing your ability to stand up for yourself.
What?
Why do you think that feminists and woke people have been praising feminine soy boys who can't stand up for themselves and constantly describe normal, healthy, non-abusive male behavior as toxic?
Well, if there's a conversation about how maybe some aspects of feminism have gone too far, I agree. There's some aspects that shit on women for no reason, or shit on men and call it, you know, female advocation, which is obviously not true. I agree with that. But there are traditionally toxically masculine traits, like men not expressing their emotions correctly and then beating the shit out of their wife and kids. It's an example, right? So, like, that's not a good trait. So there is such thing as, like, toxic masculinity, and that lack of expression is part of that. Right? And there's probably issues of toxic femininity, too. Like, some women will enable, like, to just be enablers to male behavior. I mean, we're still exploring what toxic femininity is, but, you know, these are complicated things, I suppose. But at the end of the day, there is toxic masculinity. That's, you know, beating women, stuff. What do I mean by not expressing themselves properly? Like that some men don't like express their emotions in a healthy, productive way, like to their friends or to like a partner, and then they bottle it up inside, and then they explode in anger and beat people. It's toxically masculine behavior.
The purpose of that is to raise weak men who are too afraid to assert boundaries, so that when they grow up, they'll just let the elites walk all over them. In many different ways, they're trying to reduce the number of people who will resist their mess.
I mean, all you do is complain about fat people and women like every day, and you don't even go after the elite, supposed elites. So maybe this is also, maybe you're just a psyop that's meant to distract people from, instead of going after the elites, to go after fat people and women. So
policies and ideologies. So the way this gets fixed is by individuals working on themselves on the micro level, so that we can group together and fix things on the macro level. First off, realize that things like building wealth or getting rich is not about the ability to buy expensive cars and live in luxury. The reason you get—
What the fuck are you talking about? We're supposed to be talking about why you think it's bad that they add characters in games that some other people find identifiable.
Get rich is so that you have the ability to—
How the fuck did we get here?
Say no and remove yourself from or opt out of abusive situations. Poor people can't do that, which is why you should be doing everything you can to make money, not overspend, and prevent the elites from stealing it from you through inflation or insanely high taxes. Second, we all need to get better at setting boundaries from stealing it from you, which is why you should be doing everything you can to make money, not overspend, and prevent the elites from stealing it from you through inflation or insanely high taxes.
You mean like all the other more happier, successful first world countries are doing? Like the Nordic model that has increased taxes, but overall people spend less of their money on things like healthcare. What do you mean? I don't see it as a negative to... I mean, definitely we have an issue with our government being ineffective in different ways, and that's definitely something to criticize, but fundamentally paying more taxes isn't that big of a deal if it was paying off. If your argument's like, I don't think it pays off in America because we are, you know, our politicians are scumfuck, that's fine. But, yeah. Okay.
Second, we all need to get better at setting boundaries and asserting ourselves properly. Don't just let people walk all over you. Say no to or renegotiate situations that you feel are unfair, or do what you can to speak out when there's a problem. The more we increase the number of people who will stand up for themselves, the more things will get fixed.
It's funny because these people in this video, they're standing up for themselves and saying, hey, I would like more representation. And then you're just like, no, fuck you. Stop standing up for yourself. By the way, guys, you should stand up for yourselves just a little bit. Silly.
Personally, I have no idea how to do things like get airports to stop treating people like prisoners. But what I do know—
What the fuck are you talking about?
—is that if we have more people out there who aren't willing to get stepped on, then one of those brave people will figure out the answer, and then we can all—
Airport? Wait, what the fuck are you talking about?
I have no idea how to do things like get airports to stop treating people like prisoners.
What does that mean? What is this guy talking about?
But what I do know is that if we have more people out there who aren't willing to get stepped on, then one of those brave—
Step on me, mommy.
People will figure out the answer, and then we can all band together and support that person.
What are you talking about? Who's getting enslaved at the fucking airport?
Just like what happened with Bud Light.
Dude, what is happening? What is he talking about? Am I dumb?
More things will get fixed. Personally, I have no idea how to do things like get airports to stop treating people like prisoners. But
what is the fuck does that mean? What is happening?
What I do know is that if we have more there and support that person, just like what happened with Bud Light, then we move on to support the next person who figures it out somewhere else. This problem gets resolved at the individual level. We need a strong populace of regular people who stand up for themselves in order to give birth to the kind of person who is brave enough to figure out answers to the big problems. So help that along by fixing your personal weaknesses.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Stop backing down in the face of conflict. You're making your life worse and making society worse by doing that. Start thinking of ways that you can put up resistance. And just to be clear, I'm not saying scream at people or be violent. I'm just saying make your voice heard. You can do that without being aggressive. But I'm sure there have been times in your life where you could have said something, but you didn't. Next time, do whatever you can to not let that happen again, even if your actions are small. It gets easier with practice. Anyway, thanks for watching. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next video.
Bro, what the fuck was that? I don't know what happened there. But okay. Interesting video, I guess.